Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action. I'm back with another metal vinyl record update. Got 6 to show here, death metal, black metal, and one 80s press heavy metal album at the end, so let's get into it. Got a couple of EPs to show. Starting up first, we have this one here from Clairvoyance, Threshold of Nothingness, debut EP from this Polish death metal 5-piece. This came out in May of last year. 5 tracks of very much Mark G with a C, horrible, filthy flavoured death metal. That's exactly what this is. Mark, if you're watching, stop, just go and buy it. It's you all over completely. You know what I'm talking about. The bands that have building blocks in incantation, they just make it dirtier. They have that grave miasma mixed to mold kind of thing going on. That's Clairvoyance. Some spectral voice, like thick chunky doominess going on here. That's Clairvoyance. Like it's a wash, like just washed over in 90s Fin Death as well. Like it's all that good stuff that you like is here in this little EP from Clairvoyance. Their debut, I believe. This is very much mid-paced grooves, lots of them squealy dive bombs that I'm a big fan of. Some sort of blasty sections with like chuggy rhythm over the top, very much reminded me of Blood Incantation. I think you're getting where I'm going with this kind of thing. Look, it's not going to reinvent the world, right? Okay, like if you're overwhelmed with the quantity of bands that are playing this kind of style, then this is not for you. But you know, they're not going to convince you otherwise, absolutely. But for me, it's hitting the spot. It's a nice, tight EP of just that horrible, nasty death metal sound. It is really, really good. I get a seriously good head nod when listening to this EP. Absolutely, it's one of those ones. Yep, just keep giving me more of that. That's what I'm getting from this one. Really good. The side B closer on this one, Tarnished Vessel, is probably the highlight track, I think, for me, because it has a lot of riffs that actually remind me of Faceless Burial, so that's always going to get me in your good books. And yeah, it's just a tight EP out on Blood Harvest, CD, LP, and tape. We'll take a quick look in here. Stuff's flying out. There you go. It's just a black LP, nothing too exciting on that, but you get the band photo. There's 5 guys in this band, and the lyrics there on the back, and apparently I have a little Blood Harvest OBI thing there, so there you go. This is debut EP from Clairvoyance. Check it out. The next one is a completely new band to me, and apparently they've been kicking around for quite some time before and after this EP that I picked up. This is Godless with, and it's in Latin, Sic Luciat Vacuum Nostrum. You can take me to school on that pronunciation if you like, but yeah, this is the 2016 EP from Godless. They've done a few before, some demos and stuff. They've done a full length in 2010. These guys have been around for a while, and I've never even heard the name of the band. This is one of those things that I just tripped over when I was in the record store. I picked up that Clairvoyance. I was in an actual record store, Repressed Records in the city, and this was behind it. And I went, oh, okay, that looks interesting. And yep, it was cheap. I picked it up. I'm very happy with it. This is like a Chilean version of Dead Congregation. You know, this is that kind of evil, dark, furious death metal. Very, very high quality. It's got 4 tracks, 1 instrumental. So it's only a short EP at about 16 minutes or so, and it's definitely left me wanting to explore more from this band, which I'm going to do, of course. Like I said, huge Dead Congregation vibes on this one, as well as like Lucifer for sure, Unersprechlichen Kulten. I can hear some of that in here. The second track on here, The Sovereign Void, it opens really, really nice sort of rumbly bass, like it's a really distorted bass on this EP. Very, very nasty. And that track ends in a kind of ugly, doomy dissonance that's like, you know, some of those incantation tracks that kind of just tail off and just sort of get to that slow double kick and just the big riffs, and it gets uglier and uglier. That's how they end that song. Really, really good. The short little instrumental kind of felt like something that Nyla would do. It's only about a minute and a half or two. Has sort of a like occult but kind of tribal thing. You know, voodoo sounding thing you might have heard in like you know, The Exorcist or something like that. Has like strings and things, you know, very spooky, cool little thing. But the final track, which one is Light and Congenital Darkness. Damn Germanic fonts, you can't read a thing. That one really kicks in with sort of F and G album Morbid Angel. That got me going, that was great. You know, the theme here is just dark, relentless death metal of the very ancient variety. If you like that stuff, you're gonna like Godless, and clearly people do because they've been around for some time. 4-piece band, and the members have not really done much else. This seems to be their band. One member, Rod, the guitarist, he seems to have been in a couple of other things before and after. Otherwise, yeah, the Oracle is not giving me too much info about the guys in this band. I'll take a look inside because the LP is quite nice. So, first, take a look here. We just get the lyrics again in that horrible Germanic font. So you need to wear your eyeglass, and the band photos there. Honestly, looking very Dead Congregation. Absolutely, especially old mate here. Very cool. And yeah, we'll take a look at the LP, or more correctly, the EP. So yeah, sure, it's just black here. That's fine. But the other side is a full etching. I'll try and get that in there if you can get it. It's like a graveyard scene. You got a gravestones down there. Looks like a sort of evil angel or something up the top there. There's all kinds of Cthulhu tentacle type stuff going on. Hopefully that's coming across, but it's a really, really nice etch. There's stuff written all over that. Yeah, all the Latin is all over the gravestones. That's really, really cool. Really dig that. And definitely don't put your stylus down on that side. But yeah, this is the 2016 EP from Godless. Sic luciat vacum nostrum. My Latin sucks, but this EP does not. This next disgusting album, I have to give props to Jeff from Medicant Media. He put this on his best of 2022 list and gave it a good rep. It came across in his video as some nasty, filthy gore grind, and it had me intrigued. He was not misrepresenting at all. This is a fantastic. This is Putrefaction Sets In. It's the name of the band. This is Repugnant Inception of a Decomposing Paroxysm, which is just classic grindcore right there. Oh, look at this thing. It's so good. Yeah, this is just nasty, short bursts of heavy grind, real bottom end. Pitch shifted to Christ gurgly vocals. Chunky blasts and D-beat, little bass guitar interludes that are very, very, distorted and filthy sounding. Everything you sign up for when you're listening to an album called Repugnant Inception of Decomposing Paroxysm. It sounds like that, right? You know what you're going to get with this, and it's exactly what you get. What's cool about this, it's actually a bit of a celebrity lineup. And this is a bit of a super group in a way. Super gore. You get Glenn Sykes of Malformity, who was also previously in Regurgitate, so that gives you some pedigree. You got Anderson Oliveira and Philippe Belisario, if I get the names right, from Expurgo. Another cool gore grind band. Urban Skype from General Surgery, top tier, they've been around forever. And personally, my favorite out of the bunch here, Andre Luis from Lymphatic Phlegm, doing the vocals. And if you heard that guy's vocals on Lymphatic Phlegm, that are obviously pitch shifted to hell, yeah, he's doing similar stuff here. It's probably not as over the top. There's a little bit. This album is a little bit more raw sounding. I think like it's still ridiculously gore grind and pitch shifted and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just a little pulled back a little bit. They've thrown a bit of the Nasm kind of thing into just to get that sort of rough grindcore edge to it. But like really, it sounds like all those bands I mentioned, and then mix in some Dead Infection and Putrefaction Sets In. You get your standard like 4 bars of just sort of blasting, and then 4 bars of D beat, and then some bass noise, and then more blasting, and it's grindcore, right? You're getting brilliant. If you're coming to it from if you're relatively new to grind and gore grind, there's good similarities to Miasmatic Necrosis. So if you liked that one from, I think it's 2 years ago now, which is a top tier album, there's a lot of similarities here. I can't see why you wouldn't like this as well. This is just in that kind of thing, that kind of element. But what's interesting with this one, there's even some slower moments, some very much getting onto the death metal sound style of things. Track on here, the fourth one, Marbled to Rot, which I think might have been the lead single when they were doing the promotion for this. That's at least what the Oracle tells me, that there was a single that was released, I assume digitally. That is over 3 minutes long, which in grindcore terms, that's an eon. That's an ice age. 3 minutes? And it's because it's like, it is a slower, more death metal, death grind kind of track. Like, it's got spoken words over slow double kicks, and that's not what you expect from this kind of thing. Really sort of gives a bit of variety, a lot of meat to this this track, a lot of meat to the whole album, because the production is just stellar. Like, it's that miasmatic necrosis, thick, heavy, modern gore grind sound. It's not like buried under 10 layers of fat. It's had some effort put in, which is really good. There's a few tracks on here like that death metal sound that kind of give you like Leprophiliac vibes. Like, it is more death metal, it's slower, it's still nasty. But man, don't get the wrong impression. This is a grindcore, this is a gore grind album all the way through. It's just got a few bits to just slow it down, and then goes back to being ridiculous again. So yeah, 14 tracks in over half an hour, which is quite lengthy for a grindcore album. So props to them for actually hitting the 30-minute mark. Quite good value, I suppose you would say. Getting a lot of stuff on here. And one of the tracks is a Zeismer cover, which is rather cool. So yeah, this is, I don't know, the band formed in 2021. They're very international. You got US, Sweden, and Brazil members. So yeah, maybe this was just a COVID project, like lockdown. What are we going to do with ourselves? I don't know. I can't imagine this kind of thing could tour, but I imagine it'd be pretty awesome if it did. The drumming on this, top stuff. So yeah, awesome thing. This came out on FOAD Records. Take a look inside quickly. So yeah, thanks again, Jeff. You picked a good one. One of my favourite things with grindcore albums is when you do look at the tracks. There's just like 48 of them. Like, there's just so many actual tracks carved into the wax. It's just always makes me laugh. And we get a few bits and bobs in here. Oh dear, how much am I going to be able to show here? Close enough. I can probably cover that. You get some lyrics and some gore. You get the band members there. Look, you even get a Dead Infection shirt. More nasty, horrible stuff. Does actually list here how everything was recorded, so that's interesting. So drums recorded in 2019, and vocals recorded in 2020. Bass recorded in 2021. Like, it's this looks just progressed over time. So really cool. And I have not actually unfolded this, so let's see what we get here. Yep, it's the album cover. Nice poster. If I had the room, I'd put that kind of filthy thing up. Awesome. So yeah, thanks again, Jeff. You picked a winner. Putrefaction Sets In. Repugnant Inception of Decomposing Paroxysm. The next EP was the main reason that I made the order. So that Putrefaction Sets In, and this following up here I got from Grindfather Productions, and in fact this EP was released on that label. Oh my god, what's he keep doing with this? This is Haukago Grind Time 2, the second raid. Yeah, it's a cabbage. Yep. Just more grindcore craziness. As the name suggests, this is the second album from this ridiculous band, one-man band, and that man being Andrew Lee from Ripped to Shreds. He's just gone mental with this stuff. The first one was great. I've put a photo of it here, and that image it is a bit of a meme itself, which is just great. This is as well. I'll get into that. But here, 16 tracks of brutal, tight, incredibly well-produced grindcore. And being an Andrew Lee project, wild guitar leads and solos, like, that's what sets him apart here. There's two things that set him apart from normal grindcore. One is his guitar leads are just immaculate. He knows his way around a fretboard. And two, the humor value. It's all anime lyrics. It's got anime girl like samples dotted throughout it, because Andrew Lee is a total weeb. That's why. He loves it. That's great. And it makes for a very fun listen. And it's quite short. I mean, look. There's a cabbage on the cover. I had to look up why this is important. It felt like it would be important, and I found out it was important. Apparently, in anime circles, anime series and films, the quality of the animation can be determined by how well they draw a cabbage. This has come up on Reddit forums and things when I was looking, and like, I'm just not surprised. I am not surprised. And this particular image is taken from some kind of anime, so look, there you go. Yep. Cabbage grind. There's the back. Look, more friggin' cabbage. Why the hell not? My favourite track on this one, and look, he gets a bit AC with some of the lyrics, which is great. I mean, look, people die when they are killed. It's such an AC song title. But my favourite track on here is called Stench of Unwashed Congoers. The lyrics: vile fumes effing up the convention centre. Who the F is the stinky offender? Up in the air, is it a fart? A sewage line rupture? No, it's the attendees. Just take a shower already. That's... oh, it's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. There's not much more to be said. I mean, it's that kind of tight, fast grindcore that is like an anime version of Wormrot with the guitarist from Ripped to Shreds, and that is Hukugo Grindtime, number 2, the second raid. And look, just to hammer it home, let's go inside the package here. So, look, more cabbages. There's the lyrics, and as you can see, if we try and, I mean, some of them are real, like that one I just mentioned before. That one was real, but this one here, Mo Kion. Yeah, it's just rah, 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 that's all it is. That's the vocals. So that's brilliant. But yeah, no, the side B, Power of Anime, same deal. The Power of Anime is just screaming. But yeah, look, Mincing Cabbages. There's a song here called Mincing Cabbages. It's amazing. Look, more cabbages. He's cabbage obsessed, this guy. And just to you know, keep the theme, it's yeah, it's in cabbagey yellow green. Yep. That's Andrew Lee. Yep. Hukugo Grindtime 2, the second raid. Look, it's a lot of fun. It's exactly what I've just described. It is tight, fast grind. It's good fun. The samples make me laugh. The lyrics are ridiculous. I think it's really good. It's probably even as good as the first album, I think. But yeah, the second. And at the absolute opposite end of the humour spectrum, because this is no laughing matter. This is a serious album, this one. This is the latest third album from a band that has been one of my favourite finds in the past few years. This is Scath na Daith, Virulent Providence, their third album. The band name roughly translates to Shadow of the Gods. They blew me away, absolutely blew me away in 2017 with their debut, Nothing But the Flesh. It is like this quite unique sounding, very modern black metal, black death metal. I'll talk more about it. Lyrically, the band focuses on sort of Irish folklore, but this is not in any way a folk metal band. It doesn't go down that sound route at all. This is pretty harsh, but very organic sounding black death metal, mainly black metal. Black metal that's got some death metal in it, I suppose. It's dark, but it has often got some sort of glimmering bright light passages in it. Modern black metal with a different approach, I think, is what you get from Scath na Daith. And I hope I'm getting the band's name right. It's not one I've been able to find a way to pronounce online or anything like that. But with this one, their third one, Virulent Providence, it's only got 2 tracks. One side per track and 20 minutes each. They're quite lengthy. It feels, when you're listening to it, that they're going for half that. They do not feel like 19-20 minute long songs. They are quite infused with so much going on. They seem quite urgent in getting to the end of the song. Like they're just going forward through the motions really, really fast, even when they're not playing at a fast pace, because the songs do vary up. They go from fast to crawling, but it has that urgency all the way through it. The anger you can feel in these things is actually there. It really feels like strained and tense. There's something going on here. I guess passionate. We'll just say it's passionate. A strong mood of death and decay. Absolutely. When you read through the lyrics as well, that's those like rotting trees and things. Like, I think this cover kind of does say a lot of what's going on here. You've got the darkness down here and rotting, but there is this attempt to try and get to the light. And I think there's a bit of a, you can hear that in the songs. They're trying to go bright, but they keep getting pulled back. It definitely comes across in the music. So, like I said, it is ferocious. There's not too much. That's a nice picture, but there's not much on the back there. But there's many opportunities for this album to breathe. Overall, it's quite an encompassing, scathing sound. Elements of Ruins of Beverast are in the cacophony there, but I don't think it's. I couldn't say that this sounds like Ruins of Beverast. It's just got some elements in there. What I do hear a lot of is Icelandic band Zhrine, Zhrine. I quite hear that in this album. It's got like it'll have the fast riffs, and then it'll just go into that stomping, brutally heavy sound, just the dun 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 dun, dun, like just thick and dominating beats. Very, very crunching stuff. It's great. When they get into that heavy, slow stuff, that's when you can really hear more of the death metal in there. But it's not anything I would say, oh, this is blackened death metal, like, because it makes you think of Behemoth or some trash, but it's not. It really isn't. It's black metal that just has these moments that slow it down and put in a heavier death metal edge to it. Like a third of the way through the first track, the song retreats to this very simple guitar over a very lush soundscape, sort of atmosphere thing. You can hear that's when it's trying to reach up. But no, it just then comes back, it builds in with these toms, layered, pained vocals, an absolutely killer slow-paced section with a buzzing tremolo riff over the top. It's just pounding. Side B opens with a crushing, slow, sort of death doom riff. Overall, Side B is slower, I think, than Side A. Really heavy and punishing sound. The second half of that track gets almost hypnotic. Doesn't to say that this doesn't get, the pace picking up as well. It does get to being a fast song, but overall, I think it is the slower of the two and probably the heavier of the two because of that. It's not a clean sounding album. I'll give it that. It is not. Like, it's intentionally produced, but I think it's intentionally produced to remove a lot of the mids and the it's bass heavy, but without it being like big bass drum heavy. It's just sort of thick and swampy, I suppose. So, not your usual, there is no bass here, sort of raw black metal sound or anything. It's very much opposite end of that, which makes it very cloudy sounding thing. I find with it, you just turn the volume right up, and that's what you need. So, one-man band. It didn't start that way. I believe the drummer originally was another person. But it's a one-man band at the moment. So there's old mate there. And there's the lyrics. Out on Vendetta Records, out of Germany, I think, who do really good stuff. And just a black LP. So, yeah. Scarth Nadice. With one-man band. And, like, he does vocals, guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, and is also credited for mandolin, fiddle, and something called a bodhran or bodhran. I don't know what the hell that is, but he does it. Yeah, a very enveloping sound, a phenomenal effort. Probably my favorite of the three. That debut was an amazing effort. The second follow-up was a really good follow-up to the first one, but if this is not on my end of year list, it's been an incredible year because I can pretty much see it in the top 10 at this point. So there you go. Scarth Nadice with Virulent Providence. Check it out. So it's been some time since I've shown a vintage 80s pressing on here of more thrash or heavy metal kind of style. It's not for the lack of trying, believe me. It just seems that things might have dried up a little bit locally, at least where I go looking. I know Mr. BVD has had a bit of luck, but yeah, I haven't found a great deal lately that's either not exorbitantly priced or I don't already have it. And that's what I'm finding a lot of, is like, oh, this great stuff, and I've actually already got it. But this one was something I did really want, and it was in my wish list for a couple of years. I missed it about 3 years ago, I think, maybe. It was in my eBay cart, and it was well priced, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it next week. I'll get to it next week. Oh, shit, it's gone. You know, I hate it when that happens. Anyway, it showed up finally on Discogs, and it was even cheaper and in better condition. So I was happy to pick up, finally, Vicious Rumours Digital Dictator. I love the cover art on this. It is just peak mid-80s. It absolutely is. Look at that. Like that whole war of technology thing. It's so, so good. I absolutely love that cover. If you don't know Vicious Rumours, they might still be around. There's a hell of a lot more albums after this one. This is their second. Heavy power metal band, yeah, Digital Dictator's their second album. US band, but to my ears, and they're not as experienced as your Marty Worm is when it comes to this stuff, but I hear this being more of a Germanic sounding style metal, more in the Scanner, Sabotage kind of way. There is chunks of like Metal Church, so you know it's not entirely non-American, but yeah, it does feel more European overall for me. It's just straight up speedy, mostly speedy heavy metal with great riffs and hooks. The vocals of Carl Albert, he was formerly of Villain back in the 80s. He's got a real brilliant, very well-rounded voice. The perfect kind of voice for this kind of heavy metal. He hits the high notes clean and easily. There's no strained attempts at glass shattering with this guy. There he is there in the middle. Look at all that wonderful hair. Amazing. But yeah, that's our Mr. Vocalist there, and I believe he has passed away in the mid-90s, which is a shame, but he absolutely slays on this album. The opening title track, well, first we kind of get this little intro piece, which is track 1, Replicant, but then, yeah, the main track, Digital Dictator, it comes right out of the gate with this, like, strong album statement. It tells you what you're going to get. It's just, yeah, fast, heavy metal, it's got the hooks, it's got the shredding, it's got everything you want. Made me very happy the first track. But what was surprising for me was the second track, because usually, a lot of the time with these bands, the first track blows you away, and then you strap yourself in for track 2 because it's going to become a ballad. Nope, not in this one. Minute to Kill, the next track, they just said, no, let's make it go faster. We go from 33 to 45, and it is a faster, definitely more shreddy song, that one. A lot more pep, a lot more double kicks in it. Sounded more like something like Risk than Metal Church, right? We're getting into that kind of style. Yeah, that's absolute ripper. I think Minute to Kill might be my favorite track on here. The vocals are even more soaring. Like, Carl really lets rip on this track. You think he did well on Digital Dictator, but on this one he's just balls out, absolutely ripping it out. So good. I mean, that song alone makes it worth the purchase, I think. The dual guitars on this one. So we've got Jeff Thorpe and Mark McGee. Mark McGee, Jeff Thorpe, they're our two guitarists, and they're having like a bit of a guitar battle, and there's like harmonics and stuff. It's just so good, very tastefully done. And yeah, like I said, this song alone makes it eons better than the debut Soldiers of Night. I love the debut, it's really good, but it's chalk and cheese. That track to that album, amazing. Then we move on to the next track, which is Towns on Fire. That one finally now gives us that sort of slower, more arena style track. It's got a more straightforward driving kind of riff in it, and the drums are it's a bit more simple. Crowd participation in the chorus, it's one of those chanty type ones. It's a good song. The next one though, Lady Took a Chance. For me, this one, it's borderline that kind of sleaze heavy metal that I'm not a fan of, just borderline. But it's saved by its killer solos, right? The guitars on this is so good. But overall, it's my least favourite track on the album. It's how you close out side A. Worlds and Machines. Now that's how you open up a side B. It's got like a little acoustic guitar thing going on. Rips into the triplet kicks, like that kind of thing. a really killer melodic riff that they keep coming back to. It's stuck in my head right now, and I haven't played this today. Just that riff. You listen to it. Go listen to that track, Worlds and Machines, and there's a riff that's in the start, the middle, and the end. It'll be in your head for hours. Like, it's one of those ones. It's such a good one. And the vocals, because it's such a fast song, this one, the vocals are barked out. He does hit the highs at the end of like the phrase, but during it, as he's trying to build up to it, he's just trying to get the words out. It's a lot more barked. So that was really good. And overall, yeah, I mean, the rest of it's all got high energy, especially the final track here, Out of the Shadows, giving us a real power metal classic. I'd say quite a longer song too. It's about 6-7 minutes or something, that one. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I just realized here it's got a guitar solo key, and that's what all these little red boxes are about. That's outstanding. So Jeff is represented by a diamond, Mark by a square, and you can see like this one goes diamond, square, square. This one goes square, diamond, square, diamond. That's fantastic. I love that. It's on the back. You didn't have to go in the lyric sheet to find that. I still think, Bill Steer's medically named solos are still my favourite, but yeah, I'll give them props for that. That's really good. This is an old Roadrunner press and is very clean. Very happy with this. Plays absolutely perfectly clean. So yeah, what year was this? I haven't even noted that down. 87, and this was licensed from Shrapnel Records. So yeah, awesome stuff here from Vicious Rumours with Digital Dictator. Overall, very strong album. Just that one song didn't do too much for me. Well, that was a jump cut, and that's because my battery apparently started flashing lights at me, but it doesn't matter. We got the gist. It's a good album. And yeah, so that's all for this update. And I know I have mentioned, and I've been teasing, a black metal update. I kind of need to get to it. It's just looking monumental over there. There is a box of black metal, and I need to start showing it. So yeah, at this point, we might have Black Metal March. Technically, summer will be dead, thankfully, but unfortunately, Australian summers, we kind of get a fourth month out of it. March, she doesn't get that cold. It's still going to be warm. But hey, look, maybe we're going to get a lot of black metal in March out of me. I reckon that might be a go. But either way, hope you all enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, check out the descriptions for links to everything I've shown so you can give it a listen yourself. Check out this guy. Check out this guy. I'll see you next time.